Hello and welcome. So we are now connected to our server and our database. What we want to do is be able to hit some API points and write information into our database. So let's make some API points now. So we just need to do app.use, and we're going to give our API route. So API / the version, it'll be version 1, so I'll do v1, and this will be called auth. I want to come in here with just a small little add to the video, because this does get confusing. It's several pages of, different things going on. Let's put it all on one page in front of all of us. So we have the server file, the server.js. That's going to receive the API request. And if it has an endpoint that we just wrote, API v1 auth, we tied a router to it. That's here, that's your router. Now your router will have further endpoints. So if your server recognizes API v1 auth, it automatically sends it to router. Now after auth, it might say sign up or login. Now attached to sign up or login are the controllers. So the controllers hold functions. So if we get a call from API v1 auth, it's going to send it to the router. Now we know it's a sign up, it's v1 auth sign up. It's going to send it to the router, to the sign up portion of the router, which is going to have a sign up function that is inside this controller here. So a request sign up is routed to the function in the controller. Now this function in the controller is the function that creates the response. So the response back to the front end will come from that controller, that function, and that's how we'll get the data back to the user. So one more time through real quick, hits our server.js handles it, starts looking at the endpoints. It notices that our endpoint up to auth is reached, so it shoots it right over to our router here, our auth router. Now it sees that it's auth, but it's also /signup, so it goes, we need the signup function that I'm holding in this controller, and the controller takes in the entire request, processes everything that needs to be done for this sign up, and sends back the information of good sign up, bad sign up, whatever might have happened. But that's how this is working. Let's get back to the video and do it in code. So anything that goes API v1 auth needs to be handled by a route handler that we'll call auth routes. That'll be our route handler. Our route handler will extend from this, whether it just be a / or /signup. It will hit one of those paths, and then when it hits one of those paths, a function will happen, and we'll call that a controller function. So we have our handler and we have our controller. So right now we don't have auth routes, so nothing happens when something hits here, and this won't even run as a file now because auth routes is not defined. Let's just bring in auth routes where we're going to make it. And you know what, let's make the folders first to make the imports a little easier. So we're going to have two different folders. We're going to have a routes and controllers. So let's do routes. And let's also make controllers. Why not, since we're making folders like crazy? So we have routes and controllers. In routes is where we're going to have this auth routes here. So let's bring that in. Const auth routes equals require, and then the path to the auth routes. So that'll be /, you want to go to routes, and dash will be auth routes. So there we are. Let's make that auth routes in this folder, authroutes.js, and we're set up there. So now in auth routes, we need to make a router. So just const express, we've been using express, will equal require express, and const router equals express, and not just the function, it's .router. So there we are, it's the function of router, and that's a capital router, so pay attention to that, that's important, it won't work otherwise. Now just router.route, and we're going to define one route. Router.route, I'm going to call it /signup. And it'll be a post route. A post route will have information in its body, which will be the email and the password, so that we can sign somebody up. and then the function would come here. Now the function is going to be in our controllers folder. What it's going to be called is authController dot sign up. That'll be the name of the function. So let's just come to the top. We'll import the function we've yet to write. So it's just going to be const authController equals require, and we find the path. So dot dot to get us up one, and then we want to go to controllers, and it'll be called authController. Now let's just export everything, module.exports, and it'll equal router, and that's what we made right here, and then we assigned it a route, and we gave it a function to hit when this route gets hit. So what is this route? Let's just trace this back quick. /signup is going to mean API /v1/auth/signup, because this is already written out. We already know what this is. It is just after that what we're defining in routes comes into play. So it would be /signup after that to hit this route. So I hope that's explained well, and we'll do several routes. So we'll keep doing this, and we'll keep getting a little more comfortable as we do. Now what you should be thinking is we're posting and we're giving it a function to use, but we didn't make that function yet. So what do we do here? So let's make that function, and we're not going to go fully through that function, but we want to make this, we want to be able to start up the server again so that everything works. So here is authController we're about to make in the controllers folder. So make a new file there, authController, not controllers, .js. Now in your authController, I'm just going to export one thing. So just exports.signup, so that's what we called it. And sign up, it will eventually be an async function, so I will do that right away, and I'll have request and response, give it its fat arrow, and move from there. All I'm going to do is console.log sign up hit. So right now there's no sign up logic or anything in here. We just want to make sure that our server is reading all of this. So it needs to be reading these auth routes, and auth routes needs to be reading this authController, and authController is what we just made. So if our server starts up, we know we did this all properly, and we could start working on the user schema and that first function to get some signups done. So let's cross our fingers and see if all of our code worked. I'm just going to type yarn just to make sure my dependencies are there right here for me. And then I'll do yarn start. I'm not going to run dev right now. I don't care much about the front end for what we just did. It was all back end. And here we are. Server is running on port 5000 connected to the database. It looks like everything is working properly right now. And in the next video, we will start up that function. Really looking forward to that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get the password. We're going to encrypt passwords, send them back to the database, our MongoDB database, and we're going to store them there. We're going to be able to compare passwords to the encrypted password to log people in. There's a lot to do in the next few videos, so please follow along to the next one, and great job on this one. I'll see you there.